She said, "This is all moving way too fast." I answered, "Or maybe it's moving right on time." A mature age gap romance. 3 months in, she stood at my apartment window watching December rain streak the glass, wearing my shirt and her doubts like armor. "This is moving too fast," Natalie said, not looking at me. "3 months ago, I didn't know you. Your coffee mug that says oceanographer. Like geography, but wetter. This is insane." I crossed the room. Careful. She was 41, widowed 18 months, a grief counselor who knew every psychological defense mechanism. I was 28, a marine biologist who'd lost his best friend to cancer and found his widow in a support group neither of us wanted to attend. "Or maybe," I said quietly, "it's moving right on time." She turned, eyes red. "I'm 13 years older. My husband, your best friend, has been dead 18 months. Everyone thinks we're using each other to avoid grief, that I'm having a midlife crisis, that you're looking for a mother figure, that this is rebound wrapped in desperation. What do you think?" She traced my coffee mug rim. Fingers shook. "How long have we known each other?" 4 months. "Does it feel like 4 months?" I caught her hand. No. No. Eyes wet. "Feels like 10 years. And that terrifies me." I pulled her close. She smelled like vanilla and fear and something new hope. "Then be scared with me. But don't walk away because everyone else has an opinion about our timing." She kissed me like drowning. Like trying to prove something. Like maybe, possibly. Sometimes the right person shows up when you least expect it, and you have two choices. Run or stay. She stayed that night, but I knew the real test was coming when the town we both lived in decided to weigh in on our timeline. I met Natalie Harper 4 months ago at a grief support group in our coastal Oregon town. Population, 3,200. Everyone knew everyone. Everyone knew Dr. Natalie Harper, grief counselor, whose husband, Dr. James Harper, had died of pancreatic cancer at 43. Marine biology professor, beloved teacher, my best friend since college. I'd returned to Seabrook 2 years ago for a research position studying tide pool ecosystems. James and I had stayed close despite distance. He'd been the brother I chose. When he got sick, I came back, watched him fade, held Natalie's hand at the funeral while she stood frozen, not crying, just gone. For 18 months, she threw herself into work, started a grief counseling practice in the clinic James had built, helped others process what she couldn't face herself. Then her therapist told her, "You counsel grief, but won't feel your own. Go to a support group, as a participant, not a professional." She walked into Lighthouse Community Center on a September evening, saw me in the circle, and nearly left. I'd been attending for 6 months. Not for James, I'd processed that loss, but for my mom, who died suddenly that spring. Heart attack at 61. One day, baking cookies, next day gone. I was unmoored. Natalie sat across from me. 41, auburn hair pulled back, gray eyes sharp and guarded. She wore a navy cardigan and jeans, wedding ring still on her left hand. The facilitator asked, "What brings you here?" Natalie's voice was steady, clinical. "My husband died 18 months ago. I'm a therapist. I counsel people through loss, but I haven't processed my own. I'm here because someone told me I should practice what I preach." She didn't cry, didn't crack, but her hands shook. After the session, I caught her in the parking lot. September air smelled like salt and coming rain. "Dr. Harper," she turned. "You're Jason, James's friend, the marine biologist." "Yeah. He talked about you constantly. Made me promise I'd check on you after I couldn't finish." "I'm fine." Automatic response. "You're not." "I'm not either. That's why we're here." She studied me, really looked. 28, beard I couldn't quite grow properly, flannel shirt, boots with sand still stuck in the treads. "You lost your mother?" "You remember. James mentioned it. I sent flowers. You sent a thank you card." She paused. "I'm sorry. I should have done more." "You were grieving too." "Still are." Long silence. Rain started light mist. She had a sedan. I had a truck. Both of us should have driven off. Instead, "There's a coffee shop. Open late. We could." She stopped. "Never mind. That's inappropriate. You were James's friend. I'm his widow. We shouldn't. We're two people who lost someone and ended up in the same support group. Coffee isn't inappropriate. It's just coffee. She hesitated. Then, 1 cup. Then we go our separate ways. We went to Brewed Awakening, ordered drinks, sat by the window, and talked for 4 hours. Not about James, not about Mom, about everything else. Tide pools and cognitive behavioral therapy, and how neither of us could watch cooking shows anymore because it reminded us of the people we'd lost. She'd done her master's thesis on narrative therapy for trauma survivors. I'd published research on starfish regeneration and its implications for understanding resilience. Starfish can regrow entire limbs, I said. Some species can regenerate from a single arm if part of the central disc is attached. It's not healing, it's transformation. You become something new that includes the loss. She looked at me like I'd said something profound instead of just describing marine biology. That's what grief is supposed to do. Transform you. Not erase what was, but integrate it into who you become. Maybe now you're starting to thaw? Is that what you're doing? Thawing? Trying. Some days better than others. She smiled small, real. First time I'd seen it. We should do this again. Coffee, talking. Just as friends. People who understand. Friends? I agreed. We met twice a week after group. Coffee became dinner, became walks on the beach. One October evening, she slipped on wet rocks. I caught her hands on her waist. We froze. 3 seconds that felt like hours. Her hands on my shoulders. Ocean fading to just us. Thank you, she whispered. I should have let go. Didn't. You okay? No. Eyes gray as storms. I don't think I am. She stepped back. Moment broke, but something shifted. We talked about James sometimes, good memories, not loss. By October's end, we weren't just grief buddies. Friends teetering on more. By November, I was in trouble. I wanted more, and I was terrified she'd never see me as anything but her late husband's young friend. One night at her house, she asked about my research. I pulled up a video on my phone, bioluminescent plankton lighting up tide pools. Wait, how do I? She squinted at the screen, trying to pinch zoom but somehow opening 3 other apps. I bit back a smile. Here, I took the phone, showed her the gesture. I'm so bad at this. I still have a flip phone in my desk drawer because I can't figure out how to transfer contacts. It's not hard. I can show you. You're 12. I'm 28. Exactly. You grew up with this. I grew up with rotary phones and mixtapes. Mixtapes are cool. Very retro. Don't say retro like I'm a museum exhibit. She was smiling. What else do you young people say? We say, fire. Or slaps. That soup slaps? Laughing. I sound ridiculous. You sound like you. I leaned closer. Our shoulders touched. Jason, what are we doing? I don't know, but I like it. She didn't pull away. That felt like progress. November brought storms. Wind rattling windows. Ocean churning gray. We met at her house one evening. Victorian, she and James had restored 3 blocks from the beach. Inside smelled like cinnamon tea and books. She'd made soup. We ate in her kitchen, rain hammering the roof. My mother-in-law called today, she said, stirring her bowl. Asked how I was doing. Really asked, when are you going to start dating again? What did you say? That I'm not ready. That I'm still processing. That I can't imagine being with someone else. She looked up, but that was a lie. My heart stopped. What? I can imagine it. That's the problem. She set down her spoon. Jason, we need to talk about what's happening here. What's happening? You know what? The way you look at me. The way I think about you when I shouldn't. How we find excuses to meet. How I feel like I'm 18 again instead of 41. She stood, paced. This is inappropriate. You're 13 years younger. You were James's best friend. This town will crucify me if I stood too, crossed to her. If what? If I admit I'm falling for you, said like confession, like crime. I caught her hands. I've been in love with you since October. Since you laughed at my terrible starfish jokes and told me about attachment theory like it was poetry. Since I realized you see me not James's friend, not some kid, but me. You're 28, and you're 41. I know math. I paused, doubt creeping in despite my words. But yeah, sometimes I wonder what I offer. You had James successful, established, your age. I'm still figuring out my career. Still paying off student loans. What if I'm not enough? What if you wake up and realize you're with someone who can't match what you had? She went still, caught my face. Jason, you're not James. You're not supposed to be. You're you, brilliant, kind, and brave enough to admit you're scared. That's rarer than you think. But the age thing is a number. She said it firmly. I'm not your mother. You're not my child. We're two adults who found each other at the right time. Stop comparing yourself to a ghost. I see you, Nat. She pulled away slightly, her fear returning. But the town will talk. Let them. Your family will worry. They'll get over it. I'm not sure I deserve this. After James loved you. He'd want you happy. And Nat, you're allowed to be happy. Even with someone 13 years younger. Even with your late husband's friend. Even when it feels too fast. I touched her face. You're allowed to live. She started crying real tears, not the controlled grief counselor mask. I don't know how. Then let me show you. She kissed me. Desperate and scared and hopeful. Tasted like cinnamon tea and salt warmth and tears. New beginnings flavored with old comfort. This is insane. Probably. Everyone will judge. Definitely. We'll have to be careful. The town, my practice, I counsel people through relationship grief. If they think I'm rushing into something inappropriate, then we'll be careful. Until we're ready to not be. She pulled back. I need time. To figure out if this is real or just grief bonding? Rebound? Midlife crisis? I smiled gently. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. She kissed me again. Softer. Stay tonight. Just sleeping. I want to wake up next to someone who sees me. Just once. I stayed. We slept tangled on her couch, rain drumming, her breath steady against my chest. And when I woke, she was watching me, terrified and tender. Good morning, I whispered. It's still real. Yeah, I'm still scared. Me too. But you're still here. Told you. Not going anywhere. She kissed my shoulder. 3 months. Let's give this 3 months. Secret. Careful. See if it's real when we're not just running from grief. If it survives that, we'll tell people. 3 months. We shook on it like a contract. Like we could control timing. We had no idea how fast 3 months would go. December arrived cold and bright. We were careful. Met at my apartment or her house. Separate cars to restaurants 1 town over. Deleted text threads. Kept our distance at support group. But the secrecy wore on us. One night at my place, we were cooking when she got a text from a colleague. Dinner Friday? She stared at her phone, then at me. I want to say yes, and bring you, introduce you as my boyfriend. But I can't, because then everyone knows. And I'm not ready for that fight. So say you're busy. I've said that 3 times this month. People are noticing, wondering why the social doctor. Harper suddenly has no time for anyone. She set down her phone. I feel like I'm sneaking around. Like we're shameful. We're not shameful. We're private. There's a difference. Is there? Or are we hiding because we know people will judge? Both, I admitted. We're being smart, giving ourselves time before the storm hits. But storms always hit. Maybe we're just delaying the inevitable. She was right. We were. One Tuesday, supermarket 2 towns over. Produce section. Our fingers touched, reaching for tomatoes. She smiled private. Just for me. Then, Carol's silver Honda. Parking lot. We need to move. My voice tight. What, Carol? Now. We dropped tomatoes. Moved fast to cereal aisle. Hid like teenagers. Watched Carol shop through shelves. 20 minutes behind Cheerios. Not touching. Barely breathing. When she left, Natalie sagged. This is insane. This is secret. I hate hiding. Like we're shameful. We're being smart. Or cowards. She grabbed a card. Finished separately. Your place in an hour. She walked away. I felt the distance like a wound. But small towns have eyes. By mid-December, whispers started. Someone saw us leaving Brood Awakening together too many times. Someone else noticed Natalie smiling again. put two and two together. Carol Brennan, James's mother, Natalie's mother-in-law, called me. Jason, we need to talk. I met her at her house. She made tea, sat across from me with the look of someone preparing for battle. Are you sleeping with my daughter-in-law? No preamble, just attack. I opened my mouth, closed it. She was James's mom. I'd had dinner at this table dozens of times. Carol. So yes. She set down her cup, hands shaking anger or grief. I couldn't tell. Jason, you were James's best friend. He trusted you. The last thing he said to me before he died, do you know what it was? I waited, throat tight. Take care of Natalie. Make sure she's okay. He made me promise, and I promised. So when I see you 28 years old, barely established taking advantage of a vulnerable widow, I'm not. My voice came out wrong. Too defensive. I tried again. We're not. It's not like that. Then what is it like? Explain it to me. Because from where I'm sitting, you're a boy playing house with my son's widow. I'm 28. I'm not a boy. But I sounded like one. You're 28. She's 41. You were his best friend. How could you? That hit. Carol, I know how this looks. But I'm not taking advantage. She leaned forward, and I saw it. She wasn't just angry. She was terrified. In 3 months, when 18 months ago she was married to my son, that's not love, Jason. That's desperation. But Carol, I looked up, met her eyes. You can't ask Natalie to bury herself with James. She's allowed to live again. She flinched. Don't tell me what I can and can't. You want James to live through her. But she's not James. She's alive. And she's allowed to be happy, even if it's with me. People are talking. Her practice is suffering. You're ruining her reputation, then we'll leave. The words came out before I'd fully thought them through. If the town can't accept us, we'll go somewhere else. You'd do that? Leave your research position? Your life here? I hesitated. That was my whole life, my work, my apartment, the tide pools I'd been studying for 2 years. Yeah. If she asked me to, I would. Carol stared at me. You're serious. I'm serious. I love her. I know I'm young. I know I'm not established. I know I'm not. I'm not what you wanted for her. But I love her. And I think, my voice cracked, I think she loves me too. Even if she's scared to admit it. James would hate this. Or maybe he'd want her happy. Even if it's me. You're asking me to accept that my son's widow is dating his best friend, a boy 13 years younger than her. She stood. Get out. And if you hurt her, I'll never forgive you. I won't hurt her. You can't promise that. No, but I'll try. She turned away, shoulders shaking. I left before I could see if she was crying. That night, I told Natalie about the conversation. My hands were still shaking. She called you to her house? Yeah, ambushed me. I tried to laugh. Failed. Thinks I'm using you to replace my mom. Thinks you're having a breakdown. Thinks we're disrespecting James's memory. Natalie sat heavily. She's not wrong about the town. 3 of my clients rescheduled this week. Vague excuses. But I know, they've heard rumors. So we go public. Control the narrative. Or we stop. She looked at me, eyes full of doubt. Jason, what if she's right? What if this is too fast? What if we're just 2 broken people clinging to each other? Are you broken? I don't know. Do I feel like a life raft? Or do I feel like someone you want to be with because you choose me? Long pause. Both. And that's the problem. I sat beside her. Didn't touch. Let her think. I need to know this is real, she said finally. Not grief. Not rebound. Real. Because if I lose my practice, if I alienate Carol, if this town turns on me, I need to know it's worth it. How do we prove that? Time. Distance. Space to think without you in my bed every night, making me forget why this is complicated. She turned to me, tears tracking. I need a week. Alone. To figure out if I'm in love with you or in love with not being alone. It hurt, but I understood. 1 week. Then we talk. 1 week. She kissed me goodbye. It tasted like fear. That week was hell. I threw myself into research. Spent hours in tide pools documenting starfish populations. Tried not to think about her. Failed completely. Day 5, my sister called. You're dating someone. How do you? Mom's friend in Seabrook mentioned it. Said you're seeing an older woman. James Harper's widow. Pause. Is that true? Yeah. Jason. Her voice was careful. Are you okay? Emotionally? Because mom just died. And you're dating your dead friend's wife who's way older, 13 years. And I'm fine. 13 years is significant. And the grief connection, Jason. I'm worried you're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking perfectly clearly. Natalie is amazing. She sees me. We're good together. But is it healthy? Grief bonding is real. Therapists warn against making major decisions in the first year after loss. It's been 6 months since mom, which is still raw. And Natalie lost her husband 18 months ago. You're both vulnerable. Or we're both ready to live again. Did you consider that? Silence. Then, just be careful. Please, I don't want you hurt. I'll be careful. I promise. I hung up and stared at my research notes. All the starfish data blurred. My sister's words echoed. Vulnerable. Grief bonding. Not thinking clearly. What if she was right? I thought about Natalie. How she made me laugh. How she challenged me intellectually. How she didn't treat me like a kid but like an equal. How being with her felt like coming home. That wasn't grief. That was love. But doubt gnawed. What if I was fooling myself? What if this crashed and I lost not just her but the memory of James too? I almost texted her. Almost broke the week-long silence. Didn't. Because she needed space. And maybe I needed to prove to myself this was real, without her there to distract me. Day 7. Natalie texted. Can we talk? I went to her house. She looked exhausted. Beautiful and exhausted. I spent this week thinking. Pause. And I don't care. She stepped closer. Jason, I thought about my life without you. It felt gray, empty, like going back to being frozen. You make me want to thaw, to laugh, to believe in something good. That's not grief bonding. That's not rebound. That's love. I pulled her close. I love you. I love you too, which is terrifying. Then let's be terrified together. Publicly. No more hiding. She kissed me. Let's give it to New Year's. Then, we tell people. Carol. Your family. The town. Everyone. New Year's. We had 2 weeks until the real test. Christmas came. I spent it with Natalie, our first holiday together. We cooked badly, laughed, exchanged gifts. I gave her a bracelet with a starfish charm. She gave me a first edition of Rachel Carson's The Sea Around Us. For the marine biologist who taught me about transformation, she wrote in the inscription, "It was perfect. We were perfect." Then, December 28th arrived. Carol showed up at Natalie's clinic unannounced. I only heard about it later, but Natalie recounted it word for word. Voice hollow. Carol walked into the waiting room, 3 clients present. Receptionist tried to stop her. Carol pushed through to Natalie's office door. Threw it open mid-session. We need to talk. Now. Natalie closed the door. Carol stood, shaking with grief. You're sleeping with my son's best friend. Her voice broke. You're moving on like James never existed. Like our family never mattered. How could you, Natalie? How could you do this to me? Carol, please, I see you with him. 28 years old. She was crying now, mascara streaking. Every time I see Jason, I see James. And you're moving on. Then why him? Carol demanded, voice rising. Why James's best friend? Because he sees me, Carol. Not just the widow. Me. Natalie stepped forward, pleading. I loved your son. I still love him, but I can't stay frozen in grief just to make you comfortable. Carol flinched, but Natalie pressed on. I'm not choosing against James. I'm choosing for myself. For my life. I'm allowed to live. In 4 months? Carol gripped the desk. That's not love. That's desperation. I'm healing. Differently than you wanted. Carol stared. Eyes red. I thought you'd wait for me. For James. Carol. I'll never stop missing James. But I can't bury my life with him. You don't know what he would have wanted, Carol screamed. Then she left. Slammed the door. 3 clients in the waiting room heard everything. By evening, the whole town knew. Natalie came to my apartment shaking. It's over. My practice is done. People are calling me a cradle robber, saying I'm having a breakdown, that I'm disrespecting James. Fuck what they think. I can't. This is my career. My life. She paced, frantic. Maybe Carol's right. Maybe this is too fast. Maybe we need to… To what? Break up because some people can't handle our timeline? Jason, I'm 41. I have a career that depends on credibility. You're 28. You have research opportunities. What if I'm holding you back? What if in 5 years you regret choosing someone older? I won't. You don't know that. She turned, tears streaming. This is all moving too fast. We met 4 months ago. Now we're talking like this is forever. That's insane. I crossed to her, caught her face. Or maybe it's moving right on time. Nat, I don't believe in perfect timing. I believe in the right person. You're the right person. I don't care if it's been 4 months or 4 years. I know. I'm scared. Good. Be scared. But don't run because other people think we're moving too fast. We're not moving too fast for us. That's all that matters, she cried against me. What if I lose everything? Then we'll build something new. Together. She pulled back. You don't understand. I've built 15 years here. My practice. The clinic, James funded. 12 regular clients who trust me. You're not running, Nat, I said firmly. You're choosing yourself. She shook her head, looking lost. But if I leave, you'll have me. Stop, she cut me off. But her voice was softer now. Stop telling me it's going to be okay just because I have you. I need to know I want this. She took a breath, then looked at me. And I know what I want. You. I crossed to her, took her hands. They were ice cold. Nat, look at me. I don't want easy. I don't want younger. I want you. Messy and complicated and 41 and absolutely perfect for me. Her eyes filled. I'm terrified. What if Carol never forgives me? Then we build family with people who support us. What if the town never accepts this? Then we leave. She froze. Leave? Nat, I can research anywhere. You can practice anywhere. This town doesn't own us. If they can't be happy for us, we go somewhere that will. You'd leave? Your research position? The tide pools you've been studying for 2 years? Your apartment? I looked around my apartment. 2 years of research notes stacked on the desk. Photos of starfish regeneration tacked to the wall. My whole life here. In a heartbeat. Long pause. She was staring at me like I'd offered her something impossible. That's your whole life. No. You're my whole life now. The rest is just location. You make it sound easy. Finally. Yes. I want you. I want this. Even if it costs me everything. Then it won't cost you everything. Because you'll have me. Let's leave, she said against my lips. Not forever. Just, let's take a break from this town. Go somewhere no one knows us. Start the new year fresh. Figure out what we want without everyone's opinions crushing us. Where? The coast. 3 hours north. Research station where you can work remotely. I can do teletherapy. 1 month. Just us. Away from Carol and the gossip and the pressure. If we still feel this way after a month of just being us, we come back and face it together. Or we don't come back at all. 1 month. 1 month to prove this is real. We shook on it, then kissed, then spent the night proving it was very, very real. We left January 2nd. Rented a cabin near a research station north of Seabrook. Small town, 2,000 people, no one who knew us. For the first time in 4 months, we weren't hiding. Weren't defending. Just were. I worked tide pools. Natalie did teletherapy remotely. Evenings. We cooked, walked beaches, sat by fires. Slowly, we stopped waiting for it to feel wrong. It just felt right. Week 3. She found me on the beach. I called Carol. She's still angry. Needs space. Voice cracked. She was my family for 15 years. I'm sorry. Me too. But I chose right. If that costs Carol, it hurts, but I'll survive. We'll survive. Month's end came. Job offer, Natalie said. Director at a university hospital. 3 hours from Seabrook. Better pay. A chance to rebuild. You'd move? We'd move. There's a research center nearby. I didn't hesitate. Yes. We went back to Seabrook long enough to pack. My sister visited. You look happy. I am. Then I support it. Carol didn't come. Didn't call. Natalie cried about it, but held firm. I'll always love James, but I'm allowed to love again. Even if it's too fast for her. Even if it's with someone younger. Even if it doesn't fit her timeline. We moved mid-February. Small apartment near the coast, close enough to visit tide pools, far enough from judgment, and slowly, we built a life. Not perfect. Some days, Natalie woke panicked, wondering if we'd rushed. Some nights I worried I couldn't match what she'd had with James. We fought about small things, dishes, schedules, whose turn to buy groceries. Normal couple stuff that felt monumental when we were still learning each other. 6 months in, cooking pasta. I don't regret it, she said. Any of it. Me neither. This is right on time, isn't it? Yeah. It really is. I love you, Jason Chen. I love you, Natalie Harper. We ate surrounded by moving boxes. After, she made cinnamon tea, first time since moving. Scent filled our kitchen. Found the tea bags. Buried in kitchen mist. Smells like home. Which home? She handed me a mug. Old or this? I sipped. Tasted like memory and future mixed. This one. Ours. She smiled full, unguarded. Yeah. Ours. Normal. Chaotic. Real. The kind of love that doesn't apologize for its timeline. That doesn't wait for permission. That just is. A year later, my sister visited. Was it hard? Brutal. I lost my mother-in-law. Some clients. But I gained Jason. Worth it. Then, welcome to the family. Later, Natalie found me on the beach. 42 now. Laugh lines deeper. Hair streaked with salt spray. Your sister approves. She sees what I see. That you're amazing. Even though I'm old? You're not old. You're right on time. She kissed me, and it tasted like home. Not the fairy tale. Not the timeline everyone wanted. But ours. And that was more than enough. END.